The recording begins. This is the English Language Proficiency Certification Examination of Mrs. Tade Tadopoulos, conducted on the 24th of February 2015 by John Smith and Jane Doe examiners. Time 12 noon. The goal of this test is to determine if you are able to use standard ICAO phraseology appropriately and have the skills to communicate safely in English during your working tasks. This test has 3 parts: the interview, the role-playing exercise, and the conversation. During the interview, I will ask you some questions about yourself, your family, your education, and your professional background. Please avoid short or one-word answers. In the role-playing exercise, you will be an air traffic controller, and I will assume the role of the pilots in a hypothetical scenario. You will turn your seat and we will have no eye contact. In front of you there will be a chart and notes relevant to the exercise. You will have 30 seconds to study the chart before the exercise begins. You will not be assessed on your controlling skills, but only on the proper use of phraseology and plain English. After the exercise, you will turn your seat again to face me, and I will assume the role of your colleague. I will ask you some questions on the scenario in plain English in order for you to prove that you understood what the pilots were talking about and the details of the situation. You are kindly asked to avoid short answers. In the third section, the conversation, we will discuss a general topic relevant to aviation. You will not be assessed on your opinion, but only on the use of the English language. You are kindly asked again to avoid one-word or short answers. Did you understand the instructions that I have just read to you?
I think I have.
Thank you. Are you ready to start?
Yes, please.
This is the first part. Please state your name, your ratings, and the air traffic control unit you work in.
My name is Mrs. Tade Tadopoulos, and I'm an air traffic controller working at the SPOA Tower.
I see. And which is your birthplace, Mrs. Tadopoulos? And which is your parents' birthplace?
Well, actually, my birthplace is Athens, but my parents' birthplace is the island of Naxos.
The island of Naxos, you said. Where exactly is that island?
Okay, the island of Naxos is in the Cyclades complex, and it is situated southeast of Athens.
I see. And do you like your birthplace, and why?
I think that Naxos is the nicest island ever. Once you visit it, you don't want to go and visit any other island because it's exceptionally great.
I see. And what would you recommend a visitor to do there?
Okay, first of all, the beaches, the color of the sea, bright blue, the sand, white sand. Okay, not white exactly, light brown, I would say. It's windy, so if you like windsurfing, there's a nice beach, always windy, when you can go and have the surf of your life. Let me see, there are a lot of villages in the mountains, so if you like to go walking or trekking on a mountain, this is a nice destination to do that.
I see. Is there a big variety of food and beverages there?
Of course, the island of Naxos is self-sufficient. By saying that, I mean they grow their own vegetables. They have cattle, sheep, cheeses, famous cheeses. The Graviera of Naxos is known to all Greece and generally Europe and the universe. Let me think. Nice milk, fresh fruits. Oh, the potatoes of Naxos. Have you heard of the Naxos potatoes?
Well, actually no, but...
oh my God, you should go and taste them. Delicious.
And please, Mrs. Stavropoulos, what means of transportation do you usually use to visit this place, and why?
Well, look, since this is an island, if you want to go by car, you have to take the ship. Okay, you put the car in the ship, and then the ship takes you to Naxos. Okay, this should take about 5 to 6 hours. It's a long journey, but it's worthwhile.
I see.
But if you're in a hurry and you want to visit the island just for the weekend, let's say, you can always travel by plane.
And how long does it take to get there by plane?
Actually, I don't know, because I have never traveled by plane, but I think, judging from my work, that it should take about 45 to 60 minutes, let's say.
I see. Okay, thank you. Enough with your birthplace, and let us talk about you. What kind of education do you have?
Okay, this is not difficult to answer. I'm a graduate at the Polytechnic School as a chemical engineer.
I see. And what was your profession before you got involved in air traffic control?
Nothing, because when I became an air traffic controller, I was just 23 years of age, so I did not have the time to exercise another profession.
I see. And since you've been here, I'm sure that you have undergone long and continuous training. How do you feel about this training? Do you feel it is necessary, and why?
Could you rephrase that, please?
After you've been hired by the Hellenic Civil Aviation Authority, I'm sure that you went through a lot of training. How do you feel about this training? Do you feel that it is necessary for you, and why?
Yes, this training you're talking about, yes, it's very necessary, because everything in my work changes from year to year. New airways are born, old airways are dead, so we have to be acquainted with the new stuff in my area of expertise. So yes, I think that all these refresher courses and all other courses I have to attend are the best for me.
I see. And according to your opinion, do you think that the air traffic controller profession is difficult, easy, and why?
Well, that depends. I don't think that this is an easy question to answer, because it depends on your character, on how good you are at what you're doing, etc., etc. For me, if you ask for my opinion, I think it's somewhere in between difficult and easy.
I see. And if a new recruit were to come up to you and seek your advice, what unit would you advise him to go to? A tower, an approach, or an area unit, and why?
Well, this is debatable. I mean, I'm a tower controller, but as far as I know, it's nice to work at the approach or at the area as well, but I'm not sure I can answer that question.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the experience for answering that question, so sorry about that.
Okay. And do you feel that your profession is important to today's society, and why?
Yeah, I would say it's very important because every day more and more people want to travel by plane.
Mm-hmm.
They want to visit places that are far away from where they live. So I think that due to the lack of time they have, they wish to go there as soon as practical. So what is the means of transportation you wish to choose if you want to go somewhere fast? But the plane. So if a lot of planes are in the air, the controller's job is very, very demanding. And we have to make sure that we do everything by the book so that everybody gets to their destination safe.
I see. And one more question, please. Does your social circle include your colleagues? And I'm asking why. Do you feel that your profession raises obstacles to your family and social life?
Yes, my social circle, yes, includes people from work, but not all of them. I have friends outside work as well. But listen, working in shifts make it a little bit harder for me to attend all social events, but at the same time makes it very easy for me to avoid them. So, if I don't want to go somewhere or to join some family group doing something, I always come up with the excuse, oh sorry guys, Saturday night I work. And
I see.
Everything is fine.
I see. Thank you. We now move on.
Thank you.
In front of you, we are placing a chart of a hypothetical situation. Imagine that you are a tower controller who works in SPOA Tower. All the information you need is on the chart. You will be now given 30 seconds to study it, and you may have it in front of you during the exercise. You may also keep notes on the chart if you wish. Please now turn your chair. The 30 seconds begin now. The 30 seconds are over. If you are ready, we can now proceed.
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. SPOA Tower, good morning. This is Condor 125. Request departure information.
Condor 125, good morning from SPOA Tower. Runway 25. Wind 2650 degrees, 16 knots. Temperature 26, visibility 10 kilometers. QNH 1013 hectopascals. SPOA ILS is out of service, and be advised, flock of birds in the vicinity of the aerodrome.
Roger, thank you. Runway News 25, QNH 1013 hectopascals. Thank you, Condor 125. SPOA Tower, this is Aegean 700 on final.
Good morning, Aegean 700. Clear to land, runway 25, wind 2650 degrees, 16 knots.
Clear to land, runway 25, thank you, Olympic 700. SPOA Tower, Condor 125, request a taxi and ATC clearance.
Copied, Condor 125, taxi, holding point, runway 25 via taxiway Alpha. Clear to Frankfurt via Romeo 19er, Kea, Bravo 1, exit point Talas, SPOA 1 Alpha departure, climb 6,000 feet, squawk 7045.
Taxi holding point runway 25 via taxiway Alpha, clear to Frankfurt via Romeo 19er, Kea, Bravo 1, exit point Talas, SPOA 1 Alpha departure, climbing initially to 6,000 feet, squawk 7045, Condor 125.
Clearance correct, Condor 125.
SPOA Tower, Aegean 700, total loss of hydraulics, unable to vacate runway.
Aegean 700, Roger, do you need assistance?
Yes, please. Please arrange for a tow truck or stairs for the passengers to disembark here. We have 103 passengers and crew on board and 10 tons of fuel. There is also a 65-year-old lady on board who has respiratory problems. Her husband told me that she has high blood pressure as well.
Aegean 700, Roger, say again please how many passengers and the situation of the ill lady?
Yes, we have 103 souls on board, and the lady is encountering respiratory problems and high blood pressure.
Copied, Aegean 700, will comply.
SPOA Tower, Condor 125, approaching the holding point and ready for departure.
Condor 125, Roger, hold short of runway due to disabled aircraft on runway.
Holding short, Condor 125. SPOA Tower, Aegean 458, on downwind.
Aegean 458, copied, hold north of the airport until further advice due to disabled aircraft on runway.
Roger, holding north of the airport, Aegean 458. Any idea on when the runway will be vacated?
Let me check, sir. I'll call you back, Aegean 458.
Roger, thank you, Aegean 458. SPOA Tower, Aegean 700. All passengers have disembarked except for the ill lady. Ground personnel advised me that we will be off the runway in approximately 15 minutes.
Aegean 700, copied. Aegean 458 from SPOA Tower.
SPOA Tower, Aegean 458 copies. Go ahead.
Aegean 458, I believe that the runway will be vacated, in about 15 to 20 minutes.
Roger, thank you for the information, Aegean 458. And thank you, Mrs. Stavropoulos. You may now turn your chair to face me again. And imagine that I am your colleague and I ask you to describe the unusual situation that you have just handled. Good morning, Mrs. Stavropoulos. I heard that something unusual happened during your shift today. Could you please describe the situation? What happened to that Aegean?
Well, listen, the story was like this. I had 3 aircraft on the frequency, one Aegean 458, one Aegean 700, and one Condor 125. The 2 Aegeans were coming in to land, and the Condor 125 was ready for departure. I issued the landing clearance to the Aegean 700, but immediately after landing, the pilot reported total loss of hydraulics, and there was no way for him to vacate the runway on his own. Additionally, the pilot reported something about an ill passenger. So, I had to stop the departure and put the arrival aircraft, the Aegean 458, in a holding pattern. But after a while, the immobilized aircraft pilot reported that all passengers disembarked safely except for the ill one, and that he would take them about 15 minutes to vacate the runway.
I see. And what was the situation of the passenger? First of all, was it a male passenger, a female passenger? Any more details on that?
I think he said that it was a 65 female passenger that had high blood pressure and respiratory problems, but I'm not very sure about that.
I see. And did the pilot offer any other information, like how many souls on board and quantity of fuel?
Yeah. He said that there were 103 souls on board and that the aircraft had 10 tons of fuel left.
I see. Thank you very much. I think I'm covered. Let us now move on to the third part.
Okay.
Mrs. Stavropoulos, do you think that air traffic controllers might have degraded health due to their job, and why?
No, I don't think that controllers in particular might have degraded health. Everybody might have degraded health. Why are you talking about controllers? What is that so particular about them?
Well, just asking because there is broad opinion that the profession is stressful. Would that influence their health?
Up to an extent, I think, yes, the profession is stressful, but you have to learn to cope with the stress.
I see. I take it that you do not get stressed on your job?
Well, I didn't say that. Yes, I get stressed during my job, but I can cope with it. I mean, I don't get that much stressed, just a little bit.
I see. So, even that, a little bit as you described it to us, what do you do in your free time to avoid it or to mitigate the consequences of it?
A lot of things. I don't know where to start.
Just give us 1 or 2 examples.
Okay, first of all, when I go home, I tend to shout at my kids to stop talking and making too much noise, because more often I have headaches. But when that doesn't happen, I tend to exercise to stem off the stress, and furthermore, I go shopping, driving around, that kind of stuff.
I see. According to what you read or hear from the television or radio, what do you think? Do you think that the air traffic control profession receives positive or negative publicity? And why do you think it's so?
Okay, this is a tricky question because sometimes my profession receives positive publicity and some other times receives negative publicity. When an accident happens in the air, that is probably the pilot's fault, then everybody says, thank God the controllers were there to prevent something worse happen than what has already happened. But when people know that how many money we earn during this crisis in Greece, they tend to be very, how can I say, angry? I don't know if this is the right word. Maybe, I don't know, want revenge from us because we work so little hours and we get so much money. But this is not true, as you can understand, because what I do during my shift cannot be measured. I mean, when you work in an office, okay, you just do some work, you just sign some papers and that's it. You close your office and you go home, have a rest, and nothing happens. But with us, it's not the same.
I see.
I don't end my shift unless the colleague comes and replaces me. I don't have a tight schedule. Everything's flexible with my job.
I see. And during your work, do you think that weather is an important factor in air traffic control? And if yes, which adverse weather phenomena do you find most dangerous and why?
Oh, you don't mean with the weather outside when I work? I mean, if it's raining or if it's a sunny day,
I'm talking about weather in relation to your profession.
Okay, so yes, now I see what you're talking about. Okay, adverse weather is a very critical factor in my work because when the aircraft encounters weather, you don't know which heading he's going to follow or if he wants to change level, and this is too difficult for me to solve a traffic if I don't know which heading the aircraft is able to maintain due to weather. So I think, yes, weather plays, I don't know, how can I say that? Makes my work more difficult, and more unpredictable.
And to the second part of my question, which kind of adverse weather do you fear most when you're working?
I would say the CBs, the cumulonimbus, but the turbulence as well, because if the aircraft encounters turbulence at high levels, they want to change levels, to reduce speed, to change the performance of the aircraft, and this is a tricky one.
Have you ever had a report about icing from a pilot?
During my work, you mean?
Yes.
No, but I have seen a lot of this kind of events in TV. When I see the series with the Mayday thing and the aircraft that undergo some difficult situation. Yes, I have seen icing there.
What happens when an aircraft develops icing on its wings? Is that dangerous for the flight, and why?
Well, as far as I can remember, when there's icing, they have to change level. They start descending so that they finally level off at the flight level, which prevents the icing, and they can go on with the flight. Yes, it's dangerous, I think.
I see. Okay, I think we are covered. We thank you for your participation in this test. And the recording ends now.
Thank you.